Hello, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to Love and Money Live. Woohoo! We are super excited that you're with us today, and we're going to talk about a very...
Woohoo!
Let's have a party.
You were pointing to the sign, but they can't see it because of my big old head.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Love and Money Live.
Okay, now I got it.
So glad that you're with us today. We're going to be talking about a very important topic. We've been talking actually, honey, all month about the important topic of planning for their future. And the word that we use for this is retirement. Future savings account is another word that you can use for it. One, because there's a reality that at some point the paycheck will stop.
Yep.
And we need additional income, and we need to be planning for that. And a lot of people don't like that word retirement, do they, honey?
No, they don't. It makes them feel old.
Yes.
And you know, what I hear a lot too is people saying, well, I'm never going to retire. And I mean, I think that
I just heard it from a radio talk show host
yeah, and I
today.
think that kind of goes without saying. I mean, there's not too many of us that say, you know what, I just can't wait till the day where I just get to sit on the porch, drink beer all day, live for 5 or 6 years, and die. Who says that?
That's
Who does
creepy.
that? No one.
Ew.
Well, I'm just saying that's what people
But I
think of retirement
yes,
sometimes. It
that's
might be a
true.
little dramatic.
That's true.
But I'm never going to stop for retirement. I'm going to still be skiing. I'm actually going to be golfing. I actually have ministry ideas.
Your dad still
My dad still
skis.
How old is he?
77?
No, 72.
Oh, I don't know.
My dad's 72.
Mine was 77.
And
so, hey, Dad.
and anyway, so he's 72. He still skis 3 or 4 times a week. He's a stud. So bottom line is, retirement isn't the retirement of our great-grandparents.
No.
But it still happens. And there will be a time where your paycheck stops, where going into the office is not on the to-do list. And so you're going to have to realign some things. And so we're excited about this conversation today because we're going to be talking to the 40s and the 50 years old, which is where we hit. I turned 48 or 47?
Yes.
Is it 40? 48? 47. Because I was born in 71. So I'm 47.
Okay.
In a week,
Yes.
June 2nd,
Yes.
I turned 47. It's 47. So we're right here along with you. Oh my gosh, that sounds really not as young as I was when I was 27.
That's right.
But I feel better.
It's
And
big difference between 40 and 47, isn't there? That's kind of the interesting thing. I don't know. I didn't mean to push you down. I'm just saying, it's just amazing as you get closer to 50,
Right.
how much, right?
It's great. So it's 11 o'clock in the morning and I need a drink.
Next.
So anyways, just kidding. No. Probably.
No.
So anyways, but
Okay.
so we really want to talk about this.
Yeah.
But when it comes to so we're going to break it down into 40s and 50s. But we've got about 5 points that we want to cover today. But
For all.
But when I talk to the 40s, it's really interesting because 40s is a critical time because for most of it, it's where we're at the peak of our income. It's also where most of our kids are going to college. So we're making more, but we're spending a little bit more, but it really is our income. Now, if you haven't, I love this statistic because let's say you're a little behind and you're thinking, I don't have enough saved. If you make the change right now at 40 and you save an extra $650 a month, use your employer plan. It's a great way to do it. It's going to reduce your taxes, use their match and everything else. When you hit 65, that $650 should be worth about $1 million. So if you've already got some savings, the compounding interest, we've got some great calculators on our website.
Oh, you've got to go to our website. It's so cool. Well, you go to our website at themoneycouple.com and you go under resources and then savings and scroll down a little bit and we picked 2 really good calculators. There's so many calculators out there. So, and these aren't even our calculators. We just picked 2 that we really like. So go for it. It's got a short-term one and a long-term one. They're really good.
But
anyway.
don't be intimidated by the calculator. Don't be intimidated to get yourself organized. You're 40. You've got 25 to 27 years left before your Social Security is available to you. So go use it. I mean, go start to crank and use that 650. Also,
what do you mean? You mean save 650?
Yeah, 650 a month. That's
Okay,
kind of should be your goal.
Yeah.
That if you think about 650, that's only 15% of a $50,000 salary.
Right.
So if you're making 100,000, it's only 7.5% of your salary.
Right.
So really get strategic with that number, and you're gonna rock it. So let's jump into our points.
Okay, so we've got points for both people in their 40s and 50s, kind of milestones, things to think about, things to get, humps to get over in order to make sure that your future years flourish. For future years, flourishing can happen. It's really interesting too that if you make it to the age of 65, then you have a greater chance of making it to 85 than to making it to 65 in the first place.
You need to plan on 20 years in retirement.
Absolutely. Sure. So making sure you're planning for that. Also, let's be frank here. We want to have a little bit more flexibility with our time.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to necessarily be stuck to an employer, stuck to some. So you want some flexibility, so you've got to save for it. I mean, that's just reality. Let's just get real, shall we? All right. So first of all, first milestone is what is your vision for your future? All right. As you get into the 40s and 50s, it was fun. We did a Facebook Live for the people in their 20s and 30s, and we talked about this too, but it's going to look a little bit different than when you're 40s, 50s. Now it's time to really get serious and get into the real logistics of what's going to be happening during those years. So we have 3 W's for you, okay? Where are you going to live? That's a really important one.
Usually close to kids is what we're finding.
Yes. What are you going to do? What is your time going to look like? And your why. What is your why? What is your purpose? And those are things to wrestle with. Those are good for us at any age, actually. Right. But really making sure you're thinking about that now, starting to formulate those thoughts in your mind. So let me repeat those again. Where you're going to live, what you're going to do, and your why. Okay, awesome. So having that vision for the future, super important. All right,
I'll hit point number 2.
Okay.
You have to know where you are now, so you know where you're going to go or what you need to do to get to where you're going. So it's kind of intimidating, and it's kind of like, oh, I don't really know if I want to pull up all these.
Money, right?
I don't know if I want to pull up all these old statements. I've got IRAs, I've got 401ks scattered around all these different organizations. I've been meaning to consolidate them, but I haven't gotten around to it. You need to do it now. You need to see exactly where you are, plug that into a retirement calculator so you can know where you need to be. If you have a financial planner, the conversation now at the age of 50 is really important, because you can say we have 16 years left based on what I have now and what I need to save and how we want to spend money as a couple. How do I do that? So please, please, please know this is the time. You have to figure out where you are now so you can get to where you want to be.
It's kind of like a map. If you want, let's say I wanted to go to New York, but I had no idea where I was in the United States, how in the world am I going to get to New York? I've got to know that I'm in Colorado, exactly where I am, and then I can figure out the best way to get to New York. And that's what we're doing. Not that you're going to New York, but you're getting your best way to get the best future. And that's a huge milestone, is knowing where you are now.
I'm a big fan of Fidelity Investments, and I love the commercial by Fidelity where it shows a couple coming in and their advisor's helping them, and then it shows them the green line. And they're like walking down the street and they see something in the window, and the advisor pops his head out and says, stay on track, stay on your line. Because you really do want to do that now. Figure it out. There's going to be bumps in the road. Yeah, you might get laid off. Life just happens. It's never as we always plan it. But just by doing a little planning now, spending that hour or 2 to get yourself organized, it's going to be huge.
Yes, huge, huge, huge. All right, number 3, well-defined goals.
Oh, I love this.
Really being clear about where you want to be when. And that really helps both on the financial side and then also the vision for your future side. Your why, your where you're going to live, what you're going to do, having real clear goals. Let's say that you say, you know what? I want to start a business when I'm 65, and I want to do it about grandparents helping their grandkids or something like that. You want to start a ministry or something. You know, start to think about that now and start to have some goals. Say, you know, I'm going to have all my research done in the next 5 years as to why this is such an important need, or whatever it may be, but having very clear defined goals of what you're going to do. I know Scott and I talk about our future a lot. It's fun when you have an excitement about it. It's so fun to do it together. If you're married, if you're not married, then make sure that you're talking to somebody, getting a confidant that you can talk to them about.
You know, and one of the things that you can also do this, because I love this point, getting your defined goals, is Bethany and I have a dollar amount. We actually said, if we can save this much money, we know it's going to allow us to give this much. It's going to allow us to minister. It's going to allow us to travel. It's going to allow us to spoil grandkids. Yay. So we even went with a number. In our first year of retirement, we have a goal. Yeah. And one of our big goals is we each get to choose itch. No, we're not itching. I'm kind of itching to do this though. See how I flip that? Wow. That's because I've got skills. Anyways, we each have a goal. When we get to pick 2 places to live. So for instance, my 2 places right now are a little town just north of Florence. We're going to live there for 2 months in this little like house deal and really experience Italy. Like just get to know the culture even better, make some friends, and create some amazing memories. And then we're going to live, my 2 places that I've chosen right now anyways, are downtown Manhattan. I want to live right down in Times Square for 2 months and just experience New York, be able to run through Central Park every day and just build those experiences. And then Bethany gets to choose too. Now, some people would think that was crazy, but that's okay because that's our retirement goal and our retirement dream. It's probably a lot different than yours. But the reality is we've been talking about this for the last 10 years. Yeah. So it's part of our goal. It will happen. Yep. If you write it down and you make it a focus and put it on a dream board, you're gonna make it happen. Yep. So this should be fun. As a couple, this should be awesome fun because I've got this amazing group of clients and they have a house down in Lake of the Ozarks and they go down there for 2 or 3 months a year. They love it, but they worked for it and it was part of what they dreamed. So really getting those well-defined goals is awesome. Okay. All right, you can go to number 4. Sorry, I got on that tangent.
That's okay, sweetie. All right, next we want to talk about being relevant. You know, it's so easy as you're getting like in your 50s, when you start to just think, I'm going to be done pretty soon. Why do I need to stay relevant? Well, you know what? There's lots of reasons to stay relevant. To have relationships with younger people, you have to stay relevant. Yep. You know, those grandparents that text their Facebook, Snapchat with their grandkids, they probably have a...
Yeah, your grandkids don't have Facebook.
No, they don't. No, sorry. Instagram, Snapchat, texting is still okay for the younger generation, but they're able to stay connected, and that's because they learned how to do that. They have the iPhone or the technology. They're learning, they're staying relevant to the times and not just being an old fuddy-duddy. And that's really important to do. Fuddy-duddy. Did you like that word? That was funny.
That's old school there. I like it.
That is old school. All right. Last but not least, in terms of a milestone, this is to make sure, and we strongly suggest, and you will be a hero for your future, if you've really done the research and make sure that you've taken advantage of every single past retirement plan that you have. There's statistics out there that are staggering of how many people are just leaving dollars left by the side because they didn't even know they had it. School teachers, for example, you could be moved from state to state and not even remember, oh yeah, I lived in that state for a few years. I probably have a state teacher's retirement plan there. Making sure that you're going back your past employment history and making sure that every single dollar is accounted for in past retirement plans. Super important, but a lot of people forget about that. But it's amazing, honey, how many people are not taking advantage and making sure that they're actually losing out on dollars that they had saved in the past.
Also, I'm just going to do a quick, one of my specialties is Social Security. And I would say, if you don't have any idea where your Social Security is right now, get online, ssa.gov, and go online and register yourself on Social Security. That way you can see what your benefit is, what your spouse's benefit is. There's a lot of Social Security workshops out there. I always say go to one that's being held at a library or a community college because usually the free dinners come with a hook. But start thinking through your Social Security too. Start thinking about how much income is that Social Security going to bring in?
Well, make sure everything was credited right.
And we looked at our statement, and in 2009 it reflected 0 income for me. We have to remember your Social Security is averaged over your whole life of contributions into Social Security. So like with anything, if you throw a 0 in, what does that do to your average? It kills it. It affected ours by $200 or $300 a month. So make sure that you're reviewing those statements. Make sure that you get online because that's going to be a huge necessity of your planning as well.
Absolutely. All right, money milestones.
That was action-packed.
It was action-packed. We're so glad you joined us. If you have any comments or questions, please let us know. Even if you're not on the live feed, it's okay. We would love to hear your questions. But super important to plan for your future, and there are these exciting money milestones that you can accomplish. We know each and every one of you can. And we're just really glad that you're doing it together if you're married. You know, that's what's super important. Because that's what actually gives you the spice in your relationship.
Yeah, makes it fun.
It does. It makes it really fun. So go for it. Make it happen. We're glad you're with us. We're actually going to take a couple weeks off. We're going to go for a vacation. We're super excited. We need a break.
We kind of do. We love you guys.
Yeah, we do.
But we need a break.
We're really excited about that. But with all that being said, as we always end, Make it happen.